Welcome. I'm just going to do a quick live. As a psychic, I think it's important to talk about what I experience so you understand what happens. There are a lot of weird things going on with the spiritual community. There's a lot of abuses. You're not safe from that either. But I'm going to just talk about cheating and lying and gaslighting. When you are with a twin flame or a high level soulmate, and you know, okay, that they are most likely cheating, you just know. You don't know how you know, you just know. Some people actually do know how they know. Some people know by the feeling in their bodies. The stories of twin flames knowing that their twin is with another person, sexually speaking, is really insane. Some of the stories, they're insanely true. So when you are back with your person, let's say you return after a breakup, and they know you've been with someone, and you deny it, and then you make the mistake, because it is a mistake, of admitting to it like a year later after you've been together, you're creating a massive fucking fracture in your relationship. So the decision you have to make is either you're going to come clean as you reunite with your beloved, right? Or you're never fucking going to say it ever. You will never crack. You will never admit to it ever, ever, ever. It's up to you what you want to do with that information. Okay? But at no point do you fucking say, yes, actually you were right a year later. Because here's the damage you've done as a person who, or the damage that's been done to you, is that you knew they were with someone else. You've been celibate the entire time that you were waiting for them to either come back to you, or you were just trying to rationalize what had happened, and you were trying to, well, not trying, but you were on a healing journey of what had capitulated a separation with your twin or your high-level soulmate. I'm talking about those two energies particularly. And I've talked about sexuality at length. And I don't know why many of you are triggered by it. Like, you want to have sex indiscriminately, but yeah, when somebody like me talks about it in rational terms, you get triggered. I'm not used to talking about sex, I hear. I'm not comfortable with this, I hear. Yes, but you're comfortable at cheating. But you're not comfortable when a high priestess comes to you and talks to you about unmanageable, lustful desires that are capitulated towards you ignoring what actually pushes you to have random sex with random people to fucking feed your ego. That's a problem. That's a massive problem. It's a lack of clarity and self-realization and self-excavation that is woeful. Because you're looking for a partner to end the pain you're in, whatever that pain is, because you're not asking yourself, where does it come from? Is it childhood pain? And if it's childhood pain, why are you sexualizing it? Meaning, why are you looking to take this childhood pain, sexualize it, meaning finding lovers to cover it up with Band-Aids? Until you realize that that person can't fill you up and can't feed you and can't heal you. Of course they can't. Why would they? So when you have cheated, or when you have gaslit your person, your beloved, supposedly your beloved, or when you have been the person who was lied to, gaslit, the damage is extraordinary. And the best thing you can do is come clean. Or never, ever, ever admit to it. It's one of, you choose. I really don't give a shit. You do what you want. Personally, me, being a psychic, but also the fact is that when you are with a high-level soulmate or a twin flame, basically you are a psychic. You already know the answer. And what's really damaging, what's really hurting you, is that the person refuses to tell the truth, though you know the truth. You can't prove it. You have no photos, no photographic evidence, but you know. You fucking know. You'd bet $100,000. and you'd win, and you know that on a bet that this happened. You may not know with whom, but you know. And this is the dangerous part. Timing is everything. When a person comes back to you, okay, and you are the one who were, you were doing whatever you were doing, you better tell them on the spot. Oh, but I'm afraid of losing them. I understand that. I do understand that. But I would prefer you lost them for maybe a year or two until they realize the soul bond that you have, than to lose them forever when they realize that you are actually the last person they can trust. Because you see, when you piss on their intuition, their psychic abilities, their telepathic powers, it is a sense, it's a 10 of swords. It's an absolute betrayal. It's a betrayal that is hard to fucking come back from, heal from, forgive. You can forgive that person, by the way. Eventually, they might, but they'll never trust you again. Because you see, you damage their intuition. It's like kicking someone in the knee and then denying them their pain and saying, well, I don't understand. I'm not kicking you in the knee, as you're kicking them in the knee. It's actually psychological warfare. And I wish people understood that. As a psychic, when I do readings, I know when there's a third party. It comes up. I can't prove it. I have no photographic evidence. I try to do it very diplomatically. There might be somebody else. Might be FaceTiming, flirtations. I can't prove that someone's actually entered the person's body. I can't prove they've rolled in the sheets. But it comes up. And because this comes up and it can't be proven in photographic evidence, right? Or the person finally admitting to it, it's a sword over the person's head. That's why I don't like to do readings on cheating. In fact, I'd rather not. In fact, I won't. Moving forward, I won't. For a long-time client, I might. And I have to sit with that one. And I'll tell you why. Because there's a karmic entanglement that happens from that. If you know, you don't need people like me to fucking confirm it. I've actually had people come to me not telling me they were married. Or not telling me the person was married. And I would see it in the fucking cards. And I would say, is there someone, are you married or are they married? There's someone else here. I don't know why people play games, because it'll come up. And any card reader who's done it for at least 20, 30 years will tell you that. It will come up. And it will come up, and it will insist, and it will insist, and it will insist that there's no 1 and 1. There's 3. And again, I don't know why people don't know that. What the fuck is going on here? For some of you that hire people like us, are you serious? You don't think we're going to see that shit? It irritates me because what it does is you just wasted a lot of time. The question isn't, is there a third party? The question is, don't test people like us because we'll find it, number 1. Number 2, the question is, why is there a third party? That really should be the question. Why is this happening? Is your marriage over? Is your relationship over? Why is there a third party? Why can't that person who might be in a third party not leave that person for you? Why? That's the question. That should be the only question for you. And that question, and the question is this a soul bond, or is this a karmic loop to a dead-end street you've done again and again and again in past lives? And that'll show up too. It will show up, it will show up, it will show up. I have a long-time client where, yeah, that shit showed up. And because he's a long-time client, I did, and I'm going to tell you this, and I don't like to get, I'm not telling you this to give you a free run with me at all, because I'll recognize it, but I'm going to say this to you. 4 hours of a paid session turned into 4 hours of a free session. Why? Because the karmic entanglement, when you are the purveyor of something like that, you better fucking make it right, which is your job as a reader, psychic reader, advisor, whatever you want to call it. You know why? Because some shit's going down and you need to be there to help your client. Does that mean that everyone does? Of course not. But I did. And I don't know why people call this virtue signaling. I'm telling you to pick different people. I had another client who, she knows I'm a sexual advocate, but not to the point apparently that I am. She didn't know. She didn't know about Tantra. She went to a person who had been doing this bullshit system for 40 years supposedly, where he's a predator. Let's just give it to you that way. I'll just say that. It's a predator. And she was confused because you guys aren't talking. This planet is not talking about sexual deviancy. We're normalizing all kinds of deviant shit. We're not normalizing love. We're normalizing lust and deviant lust and harmful lust. We're trying to rename adults that have a fondness for younger people, if you get my shit like that. And it's giving people an absolute misunderstanding of the sanctity of sacred intimacy. Did you notice my name? Sacred Intimacy Tarot. Not polyamorous tarot. Not let's get it on, all 10 of us tarot. Sacred. Beautiful. Transcendental. Sexual intimacy. The kind of intimacy you all dream about. Some of you have been blessed to experience it. Some of you have heard of it. There's a difference. And because of this lack of clarity on our planet, because we shame people like me who talk about it with such ease. Yeah, it's let me put it that way. I think sex is so beautiful that it's not like taking a piss. That means you don't just grab a lover at a bar. One of the great books I read by Erica Jong, Looking for Mr. Goodbar, from the 1970s on the sexual revolution that happened in the 70s. Check it out. You should all read that book. In fact, I highly recommend women and men read erotica, not porn, erotica. Because if we understood the clarity and beauty of true erotic connections with each other, be it you're bisexual, be it you're homosexual, it doesn't matter. But honoring the sanctity of this connection that was given to us by God, the Maker, else we wouldn't have these tools. Hello, we wouldn't have them. In other planets, there are hive mentalities where they don't enjoy like we enjoy, or we could enjoy. Instead, what we've done is bastardize sex. And Abrahamic religions are a big fucking part of it. And so this predator was able to do what he did for 4 decades. And predators come with a smile, and predators come looking normal. They don't come with horns. They come with mala beads, smelling like patchouli, or like smelling like a Givenchy cologne, or a good cologne in a good gray suit. They come young, they come old. And our knee-jerk reaction with the inability to talk about sensuality is one of the reasons why Mary Magdalene and Yeshua were cut off from each other in mid-stride from these ancient scriptures. We are listening to apostles who had sexual problems. They did not fucking honor the sacred feminine at all. And you got to understand, this is not about being welcome mats as masculines or feminine. It's about the yin and yang, the balance, the flow of the anima animus within ourselves and within our partners. It's this weird thing that you guys don't understand, the pollination of this idea that, we got kids right now who don't know if they're a man or a woman. Hello? And yet reincarnation concepts and philosophies answers that question. It does answer that question. You don't think I went through my tomboy phase and then went into my Shakti phase and then went into my androgynous phase and then went into my masculine phase? Did I sexualize these phases? No, they were archetypes within myself because of all the incarnations I had in this in all these lifetimes. Asking the right questions. Not looking to get distractions from the nectar of a moment and taking happy pills to make it so because, I couldn't do it fucking sober. I had to be drunk or whatever. Being sober. Not high. That's why I say twin flames who cheat are usually addicted to something. Because if they weren't, they wouldn't be able to go through with it. I stand by that one. And sexual addiction is an addiction. But most of them take something. From what I've gathered over the decades of doing this work. For myself, personally, and for clients later. The excavation of sexuality does not make you a fucking sex freak. Makes you understand the very foundation of our civilization. Makes you understand why we are so confused as a people that we don't even honor what we really desire because we actually don't know what we desire. We don't know if we want a threesome. We don't know if maybe we don't want one because we're jealous, possessive. We don't know if we're good enough. So we entertain opening our marriages or our relationships up because we're not sure. You need to be fucking sure because before you make these decisions that you cannot fucking backpedal on once it's done. Once that door opens, you can't fucking shut it. It's a Pandora's box of either good or fucking more trauma. And men need to have such an understanding of this, particularly men. Because the problem with men in our civilization is for, I'd say, hundreds of years, they have sexualized us through wars, through coercion, brutally. And men need to heal. Because if men can't heal, most women who are weak in their understanding of what they truly want, they would capitulate to a man, afraid to lose him because most women love a man or a woman or another, whatever you want to call it, a lover, more than they love themselves, typically. See, that's the problem with women. Few men are like women in that way. Most women will love the lover more than they love themselves. That right there is such a massive problem. Because you see, when you love yourself more than your lover, I don't care if it's a fucking twin flame. If you're not willing to lose your twin flame in this incarnation, you don't love yourself enough. I'm sorry, plain up. Plain and simple. You need to love yourself more than you love your twin. And at that point, union starts happening. And I don't mean egoically love yourself. I don't mean fiercely with an anger. I claim myself with a rage. No, with a calm, peaceful truth that actually looks at sexually fasting to eradicate many of the samskars of these past lives that we've had, where we were taught in Western religions, in Eastern religions, the wrong things. And the wrong things isn't, and again, I'm going to go back to polyamory of, say, a couple of three or a couple of four. Like, 4 people living together are madly in love with each other. All 4 of them. They just love each other. They only want each other. But it's coming from a place of love, not from a place of desperation, not from a place of catering to that man or to that woman. Catering. Oh my God, if I say no, he'll leave me. She'll leave me. Let them leave you. It's not supposed to be in this incarnation then. In this life or the next, I surrender. But I will not turn myself out for you or anyone else. I will make sure that if I bring someone into our bed, it is from a place of love. For myself, for this person, for you. But it starts with me. This is what people aren't really talking about. And they're forcing themselves. And this is what you saw with Aubrey Marcus and his little, constellation, as he puts it, because he's a proud stallion, Eros. He's full of shit. He's got sexual addiction. He needs to holster his root chakra. And I'm sick and tired of women being so afraid of, I might lose my twin. Leave him. Tell him to get the fuck out of your bed. Leave now. If I'm not enough, get the fuck out of my life. I'll see you on the flip side of the moon. If you're not willing to do that, then you are fucking betraying yourself. That's it. That's that. That's what it takes to come into union with yourself. It means if you are going to fuck up my root chakra and fuck up my soul and fuck up my mind, emotionally put me in a landslide where I may not even survive myself because of the pain, confusion, self-loathing, shame, self-degradation, capitulating to your desires because, oh my God, if I leave you, I can't breathe. If that's your story, tell them to get the fuck out of your life until you can be your own best friend, your own twin flame within yourself. And guess what? They'll either wake the fuck up and run back to you, or you will see them on the flip side of the moon. And you'll be okay with it. And this is when you become transcendental. But sexuality is probably the most important conversation we should have as a people across the planet right now if we are going to ascend as a planet, as a people. This 3D template cannot continue. Did you hear me? I'm not talking about eradicating polyamory at all. Did you hear me say that? No, but I'm saying it from a place of consciousness, not deviancy, not fear, not lack, not shame. And fear, not lack, not shame. And men, you know your woman, my friend, my little brother who's thinking with his root chakra. If you know she's not really into it, back the fuck away. Back up. Because you're harming your woman. You're harming her. And you know it. But you're so into your little frenzy. That blonde, that redhead, that brunette. Sit the fuck down and sexually fast. Get your shit together. What are you looking for? Oh, it's how men are. No, it's not how men are. It's not. It's how men were made in the last 3,000 years. Because if you look at ancient cultures of the Native American people, they're not going on a fuck fest, are they? Have you ever heard of a fuck fest with the Native American indigenous people or the Celtic people? I don't think so. In ancient India, Vatsyana was a priest who taught the Kama Sutra, the pleasures of the sexual sacredness, yoga it's basically yoga for householders, for couples, tantra. And it's been bastardized. It's been co-opted into neo-tantra, hedonistic tantra, bacchanalian tantra. That's not tantra. That's a huge amount of people in a room. And this is where we have to we need to wake up as a fucking people, man, because we're not going to fucking win. Essaying of women has gone to a level, and I have been here 6 fucking decades on this planet. I can tell you that it is worse now than it was during the sexual revolution. I've never seen such insanity. And these Abrahamic religions are the cause of that shit. I detest religions because they were all created by the misogynistic patriarchy supported by the toxic matriarchy. We are also we are at fault. We accepted it. we were jealous as nuns, mother superiors, shaming women out of wedlock, shaming women. I could tell you stories, but you don't need them. We have put the sanctity of great sexual intimacy in a closet in the basement and pulled out the weeds and chains and deviancy of the Marquis de Sade and normalized it with 50 Shades of Grey. And if you follow me, you know I don't put the author down at all. She is a product of the times, as Marquis de Sade was a product of his time, a product of the corruptness of the royal courts of Versailles. Everyone was fucking. It goes back to the Roman orgies. It's fucked up. It's co-opted our root chakra, and this is what you need to understand, because without the foundational purity, whatever the fuck you want to call it, I hate the word purity because it gives us the impression of, oh, I'm untouchable. I'm just not. No, I'm talking about the sense of integrity. The root chakra being filled with honor, integrity to itself, to create a foundation that supports all the staircase of the chakras to your crown. Without the root chakra being really in alignment, you're fucked, my friend, and you will continue being in 3D going, I don't understand, what am I doing wrong? Well, you're not having these conversations, I'll tell you that. Because I would have thought in the 21st century that gay men were going to have fantastic relationships and fantastic sex. Instead, I'm meeting gay men who have been traumatized, who can't even fucking let a man hold them in their arms, who can't even do what you would think, well, some of us like to do, right? With the lingam. Love the lingam, right? Some of us as women, they can't even do that. They're so ashamed because their journey to connecting intimately with men was not a road that was not fraught without trauma. See, that's the problem. So the abuser is remotely still fucking with them, even though they're long gone out of their lives. And that goes the same with women, straight people. Straight people carry shame because when they were children, that was the breach of trust, the denial of the parents saying, oh, that's not what happened. Oh, and slapping the child or whatever the fuck. Don't ever tell that lie again. You don't think that affects you in the bedroom 30 years later? Somewhere in the drip of the caves of the underbelly of the catacombs of your subconscious mind, you don't think somehow, some way it's not there, humming, howling, crying out for justice? I think so. And I get so, I'm being real here. I get so sick and tired of women like me who speak with this ease, because I kind of fly in and out of sexual topics with ease. I am not hungry for fucking indiscriminate intimacy with anyone. I've been blessed with the two men, the love of my lives, one being more than the other. And I'm good, thank you. I don't know why me drawing erotic art to celebrate the intimacy of couples, gay and straight, makes me a sex freak. No, it makes me a high priestess. And I don't know why men and women don't get that. I'm sick to death of it. Sick to death of it. You misunderstand high priestess energy, and you're trying to take it down to your little 2D reptilian brain instead of seeing it for what it is. A crazy, massive understanding of why we are on the fringe of either making it to the ascension bullet train to 5D New Earth or not. Root chakra. When did I first discover this? Oh, I'll tell you. I'm glad you asked. The Harappan Valley, aka the Hindus Valley. It was a society that had been around for 1,000 years with plumbing, very much like Rome, plumbing. A whole society that, after 1,000 years, civilization disappeared. Boom, gone. No one knows why. No pestilence, no conquerors, gone. Okay. In there, they found seals, 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 or like intanglio, bulls, lions, and what looked to me like high priests with their lingam straight up. Do you get my cross-legged with their lingam straight up like a tower? I drew one. In fact, I have a drawing. If you go on my art majeur, it should be up there, of that drawing of the high priest with Harappan markings on his arm. So they had like Harappan, what you would call cuneiform, what you would call pictogram, symbolic, I would say words that I don't think the last time I heard, they had not decoded their meaning. But anyway, and I often wondered, cross-legged with a lingam up like a tower. Now, why? What does that mean? Cross-legged in a yogi position in meditation with the lingam. Priapus. Why? And then it hit me. It hit me one day. I was taking a power walk. It hit me. Boom. Yes. Fuck. The root chakra. And then it hit me. It hit me one day. I was taking a power walk. It hit me. Boom. Yes. Fuck. The root chakra. When you're in balance, everything works. When your root chakra is owned, when you are in your full-fledged, healthy truth, and you are protecting the sanctity, the purity, yes, the integrity, the honor of your root chakra, when you've cleared the damage that was done, when you were too innocent to advocate for yourself, to fight for your own right, your autonomy, you become transcendental. Therein, afterwards, all of the chakras, your heart chakra opening, your throat chakra speaking the truth, your third eye being fully open, your crown chakra, basically your root chakra, your crown chakra is plugged into the Akashic infinite library of deep, loving emotions, of experiences, yours, others. You will create a domino effect, a great healing wave for those who may not have been activated to come to a place of grounded, balanced, blissful understanding that they are freed from the trauma. The trauma in this incarnation and past incarnation is now done. It is complete. You are complete now, and complete into yourself. That's why you'll see men who are juicy as fuck, who have been celibate for 10 years, 20 years. They don't need to have sex to be enough unto themselves. But when you are blessed to have your loving partner alive in the flesh, how amazing it is to honor each other in bouts of lovemaking, in bed, in the woods, on the beach. We're not there. We're fucking not there. Not at all. And that's the problem. If you've been abused, God bless you. I feel like crying. If you haven't done the work, your abuser is still doing their work remotely. I don't care if they're dead. They are entangled karmically all in your root chakra. So you better do some work. You better do the work. Because if you don't, they have continued their abuses, and they will continue it until your last breath. They will erode the most important relationship in your life, your beloved. They will actually erode the beautiful sanctity of your relationship if you're blessed to have kids, your siblings, your parents, the world, the universe, the earth, your soul. It's that important to talk about sex. And to talk about it in the way I'm talking about it. Yes, I'm going to direct traffic for a minute until some of you wake up and actually refine this kind of talk. Refine it to a higher level that even I can't touch, because you are the future. But we better start getting comfortable, because this shit's not fucking working. It's just not working. It's worse than ever. I don't know if I'm a man, I'm a woman. I don't know what toilet to go into. What the fuck are we doing here? You first refine what is it that you want to experience. And try to realize that many of the things that you want or you think you want to experience aren't yours. It's conditional. It's society's norms. It's what you've been taught. Understand the difference between awakened and the co-opted word woke. It meant something at one point, woke, and then it got co-opted by assholes who had their own agendas. There are groups of people that are co-opting all kinds of shit for a long time, for hundreds of years. Let's use the word self-realized. You can't co-opt self-realized because self-realized is a personal journey that no one else can touch. It does not include society. It does not include what it's saying is normal today or what it bastardizes tomorrow. Look at this. Roe versus Wade was the law of the land. Now it isn't. Don't flow with the fucking society's norm. Reject society's norm and find out what you really are, who you really are, what you really want, and most importantly, what you really want intimately. What harmed you? What hurt you? Fucking be honest. Because if you're not, okay, your predator is still hurting you. And there's so many predators. I am in shock. I'm in absolute shock. And the reason why they're able to be so successful is because people like me are being shut down because many of you or friends of yours, oh my God, I'm so uncomfortable. Oh, okay, let's be uncomfortable while predators slide in and out of other people's fucking lives when they're at their most vulnerable. Be better. Insist on these conversations with yourself and others. Insist on your mother sitting your ass down to talk to you about what was Uncle Billy gay? Was he in a closet, or was Uncle Billy into younger people? Since we're gonna, be politically correct. Yeah, younger people, little people. The Abrahamic religions need to reassess what they think was written 3,000 years ago. I don't want to hear that, 3-year-olds in those days in the Old Testament were like 9-year-olds today. It's still a 9-year-old, my friend. It's still a 9-year-old. And by the way, I'm not picking any religions because actually, if you pay attention, all 3 religions have that problem. They all do. The only thing that was interesting, in my opinion, is that, they give you nectar with the poison. They mix it up so you get confused. They figure, this is the standard. No, it's not. No, it actually isn't. There were civilizations on this planet that were barbaric. I mean, I'm not going to lie. They were barbaric. They did weird shit. Okay? Read Moby Dick. And in that, you'll see that mentioned. They were barbaric. But then again, the puritanical religion was also barbaric. They've all been barbaric. I just saw Sasha Stone on you should check him out, the official Sasha Stone on YouTube, plugging him. I want to plug him because he's important in your self-realization journey. That the law of the land, the papal directive to own land of indigenous people was by sword point and was their right because the innocent indigenous people were so innocent, so kind, so loving, many of them. So gentle, not warlike. That to be a Western European from the Pope's own mouth saying, oh yeah, no, the whole planet belongs to us. And they're actually looking at law cases to talk about that because we can't continue being the barbarians who claim we're not the savages when we are. I'm studying a lot of shit that is shaking me up. There's a particular book that I'm reading. I'll mention it if you want. If you're part of my book club, I will give you the title of the book. It's fucked up. It's important, though, to understand how these fucking religions have created a weird psychopathy in the root chakra. That some of these little cults that come out of these religions are all over the world. All over the world. And how they have harmed people. I would say look up Psalm Isadora, Psalm Psalm, who took her life in her 40s. Probably one of the most, beautiful woman, who was a sex advocate. And why was she a sex advocate? Well, because she'd been harmed by her own father for a long time. And she was told by her mother this was normal, and she eventually ran away at 15 and started her life and became a coach. And then couldn't live with those flashbacks, I would suppose. Look her up. A great loss. And do you know why? Why? Because people don't talk about this shit like it should be talked about with ease. There was a time when the ancient women would wash clothes in river beds, slapping them across the rocks. This was done in Native American land. This was done by the indigenous Aborigines. This would have been done in the Celtic, European. Anyway, everyone would talk, and they would have vulgar jokes and funny talks about marriage beds and bonding ceremonies and what would happen at night with these men that they were bonded to. And everyone spoke of it. And there were ceremonies when it was time when a young girl went into her blood menses, and there were ceremonies when women lost the ability to bleed anymore, and they were never shamed and told that they were fucked up hormonally because no one would dare, not because they were dangerous and because they were hormonal, but because men understood the magic and cycle of women. Men now, at the most, have amazing disdain. The pollination of this disdain, you can't avoid it. You can see it. I'm by no means a feminist. High priestesses never needed to be feminists, because the great men of that era who understood high priestesses would honor them, protect them, and care for them. They understood the balance of the anima and animus. And then something went south. Something fractured the system. Matriarchal societies doesn't mean that you bow the knee to the woman and you become a castration of yourself. It means you are in balance. You are in balance. This planet is Pachamama. It's not your father, it's your mother. It's the great womb. She is mysterious. She has been your home for all your incarnations, and she is a woman. And because you've been a man and a woman and a man and a woman and a man and a woman in all of your incarnations, you should be okay with this. In fact, you should really be okay with this. But you're not. And that's why we have these weird, subterranean little cults and clubs of men who hate women and who sexualize their hate in these weird, deviant, strange catacombs. Okay? Have your sons listen to this fucking tape, my friends. Not to hate your sons. Not to shame your sons. Absolutely not. But to give them another path. And don't forget, we have a lot of single mothers out there. We've had them for at least 40 years. Who's raising these fucked up men? First 5 years, first 7 years. Who's raising them? How the fuck is this happening? You would think that if we had all these single mothers, okay, that we'd have amazing men right now. Amazing men in their 20s, amazing men in their early 30s. Amazing. But we don't. We actually don't. Not enough. The ones that we do who are amazing are unicorns. That's why I call them unicorns, because they're fucking rare. It's a sighting. Oh my God, a man with integrity who's got his dick and his, together and actually understands a lot about balancing, who's okay with not nailing everything that walks through the door, who actually understands rational sexual fasting, who gets it that after a big breakup, maybe it's time to take a space of time, a 6 month and 9 months, just to recalibrate, to reset oneself. Not to go running into bars or running into situations, popping happy things to make it go away, this feeling, this angst, this pain. Who's raising these boys into these fucked up men that now are crowding these subterranean catacombs of female hating, bashing discussions in these specialized groups? How's this fucking happening? And so as women, we are responsible. And that could trigger you, because we're responsible because we were too uncomfortable having real discussions with our children, real ones, so that they wouldn't end up victims of fucking predators. So you're either going to start getting really comfortable about sexual talk. You're going to be real comfortable about reading good erotica. You're going to be real comfortable about exploring the dark shit also, so that you have contrast, so that you can raise your kids with some fucking streetwise sense, so they don't become victims of assholes. So that they do wait for someone fabulous. So that they do have an amazing experience their first time. So that they're not victimized by some weird fuck. It's your responsibility. You need to stop being children. Oh, I just don't know. What am I going to say to my kid? Listen to this tape and then have a discussion like grown adults, grown high priests and priestesses, or else you are also a child. If you can't see your parents as sexual beings, right? If you can't see that they were first human beings that had dreams and fantasies and romantic ideas and got in these relationships, and there you came as their children, and then now here you are an adult, and you can't, I'm not kidding. I've met adults who actually couldn't see their parents as nothing else but these weird archetypal cardboard figures. I don't understand that. And it's because you weren't taught correctly by those same people. So be better. Okay? Because when we actually talk about the beauty, the sanctity, yes, of that sacred intimacy, we will raise a beautiful society that's balanced. Because if you've ever read some of the shit that goes on in Washington, if you've ever, in fact, look at, what was the guy's name? I forgot, but Tucker Carlson, who I never thought in my whole life I would ever listen to, who had interviewed Mother Agape, who lives in the West Bank as a Greek Orthodox nun. He had interviewed some other guy who was actually going to be spending, I think, 15 years in jail. He was a Congress or senator. I forgot. He's gay. And he said he exposed a lot of shit. Random partners. Random experiences. Using SXxx for I don't know what is insane to me. It's insane, it's evil, it's deviant, and it's a power play. It's not the E-files. It's the world files. The world. The entire fucking planet. With strange religious rules that say you can do it with that, but not with this. Look at the Afghan dancing boys. That's all I have to say. That's what's going on. The world, the W files need to be reassessed. Because there would not be E-files if there wasn't a problem with the world files of how we see sacred intimacy and how we've bastardized it, co-opted it, and literally ripped it to shreds. It's insane, isn't it? And that's why a lot of women are choosing to be fucking celibate and alone. Some women that haven't healed themselves are just looking at, having various partners, And then some women who've got their shit together, at the very least, will take one lover, and that lover, they'll have an affair for like 20, 30 years. And they're like, yeah, we're friends. He lives there, I live here. And we have a good time, and we get together once or twice a week, or we spend the weekend together. He's a soulmate. we're not in love, but we love each other. We care about each other. It's friends with benefits, but it's a long-standing connection. This is why women are considering fucking lavender weddings, my friends. Lavender weddings. You think that's normal? And lavender weddings in the old days was to hide something. Today, it's just for companionship, hugs, laugh, giggle, going to the opera, the ballet, whatever, setting up a dinner party, two-income family. Lavender weddings are an explosion because women want companionship, but they don't want to be fucked over anymore. And we're accepting this shit instead of looking and going, wait, hang on, what the fuck's going on here? What the fuck's going on? What are we doing here? We are not having the right conversations. We are so fucking afraid of being politically incorrect, about being say, oh, it's too much info. Too much. No, not fucking enough. That's why you have people like E running around doing what he did, unmolested by people with fucking sense. You wouldn't have a file unless there was a lot of people that were apathetic, ashamed of even talking about SXxx. I hope this helps. I know I sound like I'm beating a lot of people up, but to me, it's like the big slap from the universe. The level of urgency that I feel for the last 2 years is unfucking believable. The urgency to say as much as I can so that as many people self-realize. I'm not a teacher. I hope I'm an activator. I hope I switch something on in you. So you can stop being ashamed. So you can stop denying. I had an acquaintance who had been raped at 21. She was 57 when she finally admitted it. She kept it under wraps for that long. 6 years in silence. That's not normal. And there's no way it didn't haunt her and direct everything she did. This massive violation of a predator who ripped her apart, and she was so ashamed to talk about it, to release it, to purge it, to transmute it, to report it to the police. She never said a word. It was a form of muzzling herself. I didn't know people live like this. I didn't even know this was normal. I had no idea people live like that and walked and functioned like that. And you know, by the way, just let me add, she was a massive alcoholic and a bartender. And I'm not joking. I'm not even joking. She would tell me that she would drive from the bar at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, drive, drunk as fuck. And she didn't know how she got home. And I told her, you need to stop because you're going to hurt someone. You might take someone's life. One day she hit a mailbox. And I guess someone's door camera or whatever figured out who it was and came to her door. And she still wouldn't stop drinking. And she still didn't want to quit her bartending job. That's what I mean by it affects you for the entire life if you don't handle your business. Anyway, I'm going to let you go. I've got shit to do, but it was great talking to you. At you. Hopefully it helped. If you have teenage kids, I'm sorry. I have clients who actually listen to this shit with their teenage kids. And, I'm grateful for your trust. Thank you for doing it because you're a better parent. You're an honest parent. One of my videos affected a kid so well, this teenage kid, who had something weird happen to her sexually. And because of my videos, was able to go to her mother and say, this happened to me. And I'm confused. Okay? I'm confused. And they talked about it because of these kinds of videos. Stop coddling your kids. Stop fucking hiding your kids in the closet, because what you're doing is lying to yourself while predators walk right in and take over while you think you're protecting your kids. Like, wake the fuck up. Wake up. That's right. It's vital to talk about our lives. My teenage listens with me sometimes. Yeah. And I'm not telling you, I'm not forcing you, but do it, because we need to stop the silence. The don't ask, don't tell has done more harm than anything in our societies. And I mean, for 2,000 years, at least 2,000. I'm going to say 3,000. I keep going with 3,000. 3,000 years at the minimum. Okay? We just need to talk about it. And no, I'm not a sex freak. I'm not weirdo. I don't fucking swing. I never have. I've had 2 men since I was 21. Okay? And before that, I had my little experiences where I was like, oh yeah, that's shit. That's shit sex. No connection is shit sex, or pedestrian sex. To be very blunt with you, to be absolutely transparent, 2 men since I was 21. And having my little one night stands and going, yeah, that's not it. Oh God, that's really fucking, oh fuck, not again. And then sometimes having the spirit of the occasion take over. What the fuck, I'm here. I might as well practice. I'm here. You know? And then finally moving out of that turnstile. A turnstile. And then, boom, meeting the one. Then meeting the one. And maybe that's why I'm so well fed. So think about that as well. Because if you have to get drunk and high to fuck someone, you probably should be fucking them. Just saying. All right, my loves. Sending you much love on your journey. Namaste.